and
Nice.
nice.
See how it's bigger?
I like that.
Yeah, it's cool.
I like when it's bigger.
Hi guys, I'm Annika.
Hey, I'm Megan. Welcome back to Built Radio. Today we have a special guest with us, Chloe Townsend.
Hello.
Chloe, do you want to tell us a little bit about yourself to start with?
My name is Chloe. I'm 20 years of age. I'm a personal trainer and an F45 trainer. So pretty much in the same fitness industry as Megan. It's the same thing.
Pretty much the same.
I train like a bodybuilder. I have just started CrossFit for those who like CrossFit. And really enjoy it. And yeah, so pretty much a gym fanatic. And that's pretty much me.
Yes.
Nice.
Wow, we got that in one take.
I know, that was so much more natural than last time.
So today we're going to be talking about a lot of the things that happened with our friendships last year. And I think it's really important just because I feel like your environment really affects your mental state. So this is going to be a cool topic for everyone to, relate to, I guess. And everyone's been in the situation where you lose friends, you gain friends, and yeah.
Yeah, and we're going to kind of be talking about what it means to have quality friends rather than convenient friends. And
Yeah.
we just cut that. Why do I always get mental blocks at the start? We're basically going to be talking about what it means to have quality friends over more convenient friends. And then we're going to dive into Chloe's yes year and what that means and why everyone should be doing it. Let's start off by chatting a little bit about your friendships, specifically in the past year, and kind of where your old friendships have gotten to, kind of how they have maybe
Affected your training.
Yeah.
Your training life, I guess, or like just your life in general.
Well, I think if you asked me a year ago where I'd be friendship-wise, I would honestly have rather have a million friends. I would have rather known everyone in the fitness industry, be best friends with everyone, almost spreading myself way too thin. If you said, in a year's time, you're going to have about 5 friends that you love so much and who warm your heart, and if you look at them, they make you feel so full, I would be like, no, but I want to have, 300 friends. I want, my Facebook page to be filled with people, fake friends who give you attention or the minimal attention. I have had friends from high school, not a lot, I guess, like having broken up with my ex-boyfriend, I guess a lot of his friends I'm not friends with anymore just because to keep the distance and focus on my training. But I guess there's a couple that I kept over the past year just because you think you have to, that you think you owe it to yourself, that you've known these people, they've seen you grow up, just because you're forced in, between 4 walls with so many kids, like 300 kids, that you must maintain that friendship, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I think you need to think, are these my quality friends? Are these friends I want my wedding? Even though you're so young, you need to think about these things. Are these people worth my time? Do they make if you say you want to go to coffee, do they make time for you? Do they care about what you're thinking, or do they just want you? Like as a PT, I have a lot of people who will message me out of the blue saying, hey, can you write me a program? No, it's my job, It's people who just want you for what you can provide. And I think we all have that same feeling in regards to friends. We've had that same, I guess we've all had experience with friends from high school or friends we found along the way who can use you. In the bodybuilding industry, people want to, hang on to you just so they can see what you're doing training wise. They don't want to go to coffee with you, but they want to be better than you.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Definitely.
That's so scary to think about.
It's sad because you look along the way, and a year ago I can tell you there's some people I'm not friends with. I have friends who would want to go to coffee with me, see I'm doing really well, but they would bring up subjects that would trigger me to see my angry side, to see me get upset,
Just to bring you down.
Yeah. I would have friends that would, they would see you're doing well, being like, how are you doing? You're like, yeah, I'm doing amazing. Life's amazing. Work's amazing. They'd be like, oh, but do you still think about this person? And I'll say no. And she'll be like, oh, but, this is what they're doing. And I'm not going to name names in particular because I think it's easy to know where I'm coming from in that regards. But people that you were close with in the past, they'd want to, I guess, set you back, and their friendships I cut it. I still get messages from these same people every couple of months being like, hey, how you doing? Want to hang out? But now I've gotten I love myself enough to not get coffee, to not catch up, because that's my past, it's not my future.
Definitely.
Yeah.
How many of us can actually say we're good friends with, like, a lot of people from high school or
can't.
primary school? Like,
No.
I honestly can't.
I don't think I have anyone. Well, I have a few.
Yeah. I have a lot of my friends that live literally 5 minutes away from me that way and then 5 minutes away from me that way.
That's actually really cool.
Yeah, like my two best friends, we live that way from each other. Like I lost my keys one time and then I just went to hers to go pee. Like I just walked to hers.
Love that.
Like
Why do you live in north side? Come on.
like, literally, I need to pee. I need a toilet, girl, please. Instead of just knocking at my neighbor's house, I literally walked to hers. Can I please pee at yours? But yeah, like we'd hang out probably once a month.
Yeah.
Wow.
Once a month, and we live 5 minutes that way. I have a
Yeah.
key to her house. Bear in mind.
It's the same, actually. I've
Yeah.
had, like, 2 high school girlfriends. I see Megan more than I see them.
Yeah.
Megan will fit, like, yeah, we're PTs. We fit each other into our schedules, but we make sure it happens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have girlfriends that'll be like, oh, I'm just really busy. I can't see you.
Yeah.
The times, you know, you need them the most. I've had really bad times, especially in the past 6 months, where I've needed just someone tell me it's going to be okay. And Megan's been like, hey, what are you doing? It's going to be okay. She'll sit down, look them in the eyes, being like, whatever you're going through, it's okay. You can talk about
Yeah.
it. She'll drive 45 minutes to an hour just to tell me those words, which someone 5 minutes away is too busy to. And that's really sad. And that's what I found, you know, why do you hang out with people who will just look at you being like, I'm just too busy, and you really need them the most. And that's what, I think that's when I really discovered who my real friends were. Like, I went through
100%.
a terrible, like, few months, and I guess friends who don't gym or don't understand what I went through, they were kind of like, it's just a, you know, you didn't get on stage, who cares? And then, but you know, the heartbreak, the tears, how bad you feel when you don't do something that you want to do. And they'll be like, it's fine, you can do it next year. But you're like, I understand the heartbreak. And you drove so far just to tell me that it's going to be fine.
Yeah.
And here we are.
Yeah, Chloe and I have gotten really close this past year, even though we live like an hour away from each other. But it's just because, like, she's one of those people, like she just said about me, I can say about her as well. She just constantly was there for me and went out of her way to show me that she cares.
Yeah, 100%.
And that's something that I've really learnt this past few months, just about who's actually there for me and who really cares and who matters and who's not.
Yeah,
You know?
100%. It's even the little things. It's, you know, if I haven't seen her in a few days, and even if little things happen, she'll say, let's get coffee, we need to meet up, we'll discuss what's going on. And I don't have to be going through a life or death situation for her to go out of her way and meet me halfway, come to my side or I'll come to her side. And it just shows who really wants to be in your corner and who is cheering, I guess, for you, you know, no matter what happens. Like, people you don't know will be happy for your success because they're not a part of it, but the people who are super close to you almost want to break that success when you overlap what they're doing, and you're not one of those people. You always, doesn't matter what I'm doing, you know, if I'm in a cut, you're like, yeah, you got it, but you don't have to be like, but I'm going to do one too because I want to be, you know, better than you want to be supportive. And it's a completely different friendship from what I've ever experienced.
Yeah, and I think part of that, and just a tip for being a good friend in general, is to really just be happy with what you're doing and focus on living your life. So that way, like, you can just worry about you, and then you can be supportive 100% of your friends and anyone else in your life, you know? Like, there's no pettiness, there's no, you know, cattiness. It's just 100% support, and it's genuine. Whereas maybe those people who aren't so happy with their life, whether they, like, don't have a career they want yet, or, you know, whatever it might be, they're the ones who show that pettiness and kind of try to put you down. Whereas people like you guys, you know, you're happy with where you're at, so you can be just genuinely nice.
Yeah.
You can be a good person.
Yeah.
I'm nice.
Yeah, you're
But
nice.
you need to love yourself first.
Sure.
I think I told you maybe 1 month ago, I said, I think this is the first time I've really ever loved myself. I think I've gone through phases where, you know, I might have been shredded, but I hated who I was. I hated where I was at. And I got to myself and I'm so confident to say I love myself, and you feel content. And that's what you need to do to be able to support someone else, to love yourself, to be happy for someone else.
Yeah,
That
100%.
makes sense. It's just happiness, though, to hear people actually say good things.
Yeah.
That's the thing. You don't hear people say good words about other people that come from your heart that actually mean something. You can say, girl, you look pretty, but that's the outside. What about the inside? What about, you know, are you intelligent? you know, little bits and pieces inside you. People need to dig deeper, not what's on the outside. You can think someone's pretty, but what are their hobbies? What do they like to do? You know, you want to be able to sit there and if you have a best friend, if someone asks you about their best friend, you can't be like, she's just really pretty and she's got blue eyes. You want to be like, she loves to mountain climb, she loves the gym, this is her favourite exercise, her favourite food, favourite colour. You need to dig deeper into someone's soul, not into someone's like what they are on the outside, or what they like to, I guess, claim that they are to people on social media, etc.
It's so wild because everyone just it's wild because everyone has such a short attention span nowadays that no one thinks to ask, oh yeah, what are those qualities about you? Everyone's just like, oh, she gyms, cool, let's be friends.
Yeah.
It's like, wow.
Yeah, and that's coming back to, like you said before, just everyone trying to be friends with people based on what they can provide for you, or like how they look on social media, and you know, if they're competing or whatever. Like, especially in the fitness industry, there's a lot of friendships, I think, that are based around fakeness and just how they can kind of network and, you know, get stuff from each other. But you can really see through that, I think.
It's almost become like a high school environment. Like, everyone's being friends with the same person that has the same kind of gym, you know, like, what's that?
It's a good chocolate
gym routine. Yeah, gym routine. So they're like, oh, we are doing this at the same time, let's be friends.
Yeah.
Wow.
And once again, that's just convenience.
Again,
that's not quality.
Well, same with guys. Like, they'll message me saying, you're competing, want to hang out?
Yeah, it's like, what?
We will have nothing in common.
Exactly. Like, just because you gym or whatever, like, that's not you. Like, that's not your personality, you know?
Apart from the fact that we lift the exact same weight, you have nothing in common.
Yeah, honestly.
Like, you had that, though. You probably would have met up with a guy, and then you meet him, and you're like, this is not for me. And he's probably looking at you like, oh, but this is not what you look like all the time. No, I'm not shredded all the time. I'm sorry.
A lot of us have had friends that we've had for years, and none of us are friends with these people anymore. Like, and I think that's just a normal thing that people our age are going through. Like, people getting married, having babies, and losing friends, and making more friends.
Yeah.
Like, it's a normal thing that happens in life because, again, everyone's friends in high school because of convenience. And it all comes down to that. That's why a lot of people who do work in the same environment do become friends. But it's the means of staying friends, and the reason why is personalities. And if you get along, there's no need of having those fake friends. And it's really cool to see that when you're older, you actually start realizing who these people are now, and like how people react to you. It's just so weird that there's two people looking at me. This is so weird.
So intrigued.
Yeah, like people have mature relationships now, and we can not see each other for like a month and we'll probably still act the same. It's not the means of not seeing people for like ages. It's the fact that we actually care about these people, and we'll still catch up and say, hey, just thought I'd say, hey, how are you going? And hope you're doing all right. Catch up soon. But it's not because I'm not thinking about you. It's because we all have our schedules.
And you're busy.
And we're busy. Like, we're all in... Well, I'm in a different field than like everyone else. But then we still make time to see each other, I guess.
Along with that, though, like, if you have a friend who's kind of using that as too much of an excuse, then you might need to consider if that friend is really worth having around. Something I recently went through is losing a friend that I had for about 4 years. And I just kind of realized that people don't stay the same forever, which is fine. You know, people change and develop, whether it's good or bad, and people can go their own way. But the thing is, yeah, you can't just hold on to, you know, a friend or a boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever. You can't hold on to those people just because you've known them for so long and they've always been there. Because if they change one day and they're not treating you well anymore, and they're just constantly just treating you horribly, you know, not being nice, not being there for you like they used to, you know, you might have to make that hard decision and just say enough is enough.
Snip, snip, bitch.
Yeah. You know, and that doesn't always have to be a bad thing, even though I know it sucks. But, you know, they might come back one day and they've kind of realized things. They've grown into, you know, a better person. They've kind of got their stuff figured out, and then...
You both figure stuff out.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
You both kind of make do with each other.
Yeah.
Well, not make do. Wow, that sounds
No,
terrible.
no.
Well, I think the thing is, it's hard, I think, if someone says farewell to a friendship, but then comes back when they're ready. I have a client and there's someone she knew from years ago, bad influence on her, but this person's now come back because they're ready. But what about you? What about, have you moved on? Are you ready to say hello to the friendship again? And I think it's not fair to let one person make that decision on whether you're friends again or not, because that's not fair on you.
Yeah,
Of
it has to
course,
be a mutual thing, for
Yeah.
sure.
And the great thing is with me, or what we were talking about before, everyone knew about how our friendship was like, we were so tight, by the way. Me and her were inseparable. If she wasn't at mine, I'd be at hers. It was one of those things that it was...
I like that.
Yeah, like, I decided to call quits on our friendship because I just felt like it was one-sided.
Yeah.
And I felt like we just had different, views and everything. That sounds so dramatic. I was in grade 10. Bear in mind.
These things happen.
Yeah, things happen. I felt like that was like the most mature thing to do. Because,
But it feels,
yeah, it felt like the most right thing to do because we both wanted different things, and that's
Yeah.
okay. And so I said, hey, look, not into it. Bye.
Yeah.
And it was hard on both of us because obviously I just lost my best friend. But no one saw it as that. Everyone saw that I dumped this best friend and I was having the time of my life while I let her be upset. I'm like, that's so unfair. Obviously, I've lost something. Like, we both lost.
Yeah.
Yeah,
100%.
on respective levels.
It's never a happy thing.
No. But then years later, I've watched her grow up as a person, and I'm sure she did the same. And we've both kind of like gotten on the same page of how we are, and we've become friends.
Yeah.
And we had this chat. We both had breakfast together. Like one day she's like, hey, let's have breakfast, because we bumped into each other at the gym. But yeah, she's like, look, what happened in high school, like, I'm glad that's like so, behind us. If we didn't have that, I feel like we wouldn't have understood each other now. And she's always saying like, I never talked bad about you because of the fact that I knew that we were still friends, and that you still know me more than anyone, like anyone will ever care. Like, did that make sense?
Yeah.
Like, you know me more than anyone else could. Yeah.
I think I hate that. I think that's the same with relationships, how I hate when they end and you know that person better than anyone else does, but they can't see the fact that you do.
Yeah. Oh.
Like, in a past relationship of mine, I see my ex doing things that they don't like or they don't usually do, and you kind of think, do I know them, or did they pretend to be someone when we were together? Oof. And it's completely different when that person was your bestest friend the whole entire world, and you have to watch them from afar doing really good things or just doing life. And it's kind of hard when they say we'll be friends one day, but you don't really know when that one day will be. Will you have grown too much to want to be their friend, or will your paths never cross? And I think that's one of the most intriguing things is I wonder, will you be friends with that person again? It's like an ex-best friend as well.
Yeah.
Will you be their friend again? Can you get on that those terms? And I find that really interesting because you don't know, have you outgrown the other person because you haven't grown with that person?
Yeah.
And that's a big deal, I think.
Yeah, for sure, yeah.
I think it's a really big thing to kind of unpack and deal with. But I think it all comes back to kind of just then working on yourself, and, as hard as it is to let people go and kind of not be in their life anymore, all you can really do is focus on what you're doing, focus on the people around you and putting the most into those friendships for now. And like we said, you might come to a place where you're both in a better place mentally, you've both grown, and then, you might have that relationship again. So all you can really do is, work on yourself, put yourself first and your friends in the moment, and, it might come back to you.
You can't fear the unknown as well. You can't be twiddling your thumbs whether it's
just waiting for the...
Yeah, and it's not fair on you to hold on what you could be doing for someone to, come back into your life when they're ready, because you might not be ready, and that's okay.
Yeah, 100%. And if it comes to, say, actual relationships, like between partners, and you have a breakup or whatever, like, take your time to get over that, of course, but then definitely use that time and appreciate that time to work on, like, your inner self, because I know now, like, being in a relationship, I'm so glad I took a whole year off in 2017 hating boys. And, you know, just completely focusing on me because, like I mentioned at the start, that's what helps you become a good friend and become a good partner. So if you're single, like, use that time well and work on you, figure out what you're about, what you want to do, what direction you want to take, and then that'll make it easier to kind of cut people off who aren't treating you so well anymore or just aren't going in the direction you want to take your life.
Yeah. Sorry, no, you go.
I was bad when I was in my first ever relationship. I cut off friends that I shouldn't have, and I gave the attention to this one person who, you're 18, he's going to be obviously your husband.
He's the one.
He's the one.
I've been there too.
But,
twice in high school.
But having...
What's up?
But having broken up, I guess, when we did, I built my own business. I'm so successful, so happy. But I'm confident. I can approach people with confidence. I have this newfound confidence that I didn't have when I was with him because he was my everything. I gave him everything. But once we broke up, I thought I was nothing. I had nothing. Yeah. I, wasn't going to be successful. Under a year later, I'm running my own business. I'm successful. I'm working full time. I'm gymming. I'm doing my bodybuilding, which I told myself when I was 15 I was going to do. And I'm doing it. And I'm doing the things I love, giving attention to people who deserve it. And now I don't have to employ someone to do the work that I have to do for myself.
Nice.
Yeah, you can't employ someone to love you. That's your job, okay?
You must love yourself. But it's so fair. It's, you just have to be confident in who you are and actually put in effort for yourself, because if someone comes along, you'll be ready for that. You don't have to be looking for it. And I think I've looked for it for so long. I've been digging, saying, could he be good? Could I build something with someone I found on Instagram? It's petty and it's terrible, but you actually think that. Yeah. And then you look back and you're like, he posted a pic that his friend took and he could be like hating himself right now. You don't know what's going on in his life, and you can't picture the perfect life with someone you don't know, and you can't be looking for someone to give you attention. And I've got past that point to kind of just going back to focusing on myself, and you kind of develop a sense of self-worth and you actually understand what you deserve.
Yeah, definitely. So, for those who don't know, Chloe is currently on prep. Wait, is that something you want to disclose?
Yeah, it is now.
Well,
hello.
She's in prep for a figure competition, Caesar B 2019.
Hoping the best.
So, just talking on that kind of topic and just anything in general, what do you think is the importance that you found of having a good support system?
I guess finding the people who actually care about what you're doing. Obviously, having a great family. My family have totally invested themselves into what I'm doing. They didn't understand it at first, but they do little things to support what I'm doing, not to put things in my face or to try and push me out of what I'm doing. They understand it's a passion of mine. That's what I'm going to do. I guess friendships as well. It's really hard to find friends that understand it. I have friends who will still ask me to go out to dinner. I know it sounds so petty to say no to things like that. I'm happy to go and obviously socialize because that's a big deal to me. But when someone says, oh, it's not going to hurt, it's only a few calories, you can't judge, you don't know, you can't estimate what's on your plate. And I guess friends who almost pick and prod at the fact that you're not eating and make you feel guilty that you're not participating, that's the kind of friend you don't want. And that's
with what you just said, you're not eating.
Yeah.
I feel like that's what they see, is that you're not eating.
Like, you're starving yourself, but no, I'm eating
what I'm meant to be eating.
You're just eating your set amount.
Yeah, and that's, I guess people don't understand that. I've had friends in the past who would poke and prod and make fun of and make it loud that I'm not eating to make me look like I was someone with an eating disorder, or, they don't get what I was doing, and it made me feel bad. And I've obviously cut those friends out, or have just obviously stopped going altogether, because you need to build those friendships. Like, you came to mine the other day and you typed, I'm bringing meal prep. And I was like, I've got some too. And you're like, yeah, I'm coming to support you. And you didn't have to, but you brought your meal prep to be that friend, because after the time is done, or whenever I have to support you when you prep next, I'll be there. And I'll bring my meal prep, or when we're done, we can do things together. And I think it's important to build friendships where people are invested in your life and what you're doing, and they understand it's not forever, but it's for now.
Yeah, definitely.
And I think that's so important.
Yeah. So what would you do, besides fully cutting someone off? Say it is your family or something, for example, and they don't quite get it and they don't quite support it, what would you recommend doing in that kind of situation?
Honestly, bring it up with them. If they really care about you and if they actually want the best for you, just talk to them about it. Say, hey, you're making me feel really bad about what I'm doing. Because I've cried because someone has made me feel bad and guilty about what I've done, and it makes you feel terrible. And I didn't bring it up with the person in the past, and I should have. You just need to talk to someone and say, hey, this is my passion, it's what I'm doing. It's not forever. Could you please support me with what I'm doing? And it's not that hard to tell someone how you feel, and we don't do enough of it. I haven't done enough of it, and I guess all three of us probably haven't done enough of it to people and explain and express how you're feeling to someone else. That's probably my best.
Yeah. I'd say probably one of the best things you can do is just try to help someone to understand why you're doing something. And, you know, because in terms of something like prep or just going to the gym, you know, there's going to be people out there who don't get it, who aren't into that. But just explain to them why you do it, how it makes you feel, like what kind of goals you have, and just kind of help them understand your mindset. And they're going to be much more likely to support it, even though they still might not be into it. But at least now they know why you're doing it, and they don't just think it's something weird because they don't see anyone else doing it.
Well, I had a client today, and I was telling her about how I'd check in with my coach, and she asked me if I was trying to put on more muscle mass. And I said, well, I'm actually trying to shred. And she asked me why. And I told her why. And she was like, well, you look good already. Why would you want to get, you know, that skinny? And she used the word skinny. And I said, it's not because I want to be skinny. It's a passion of mine. I lift heavy. I want to see what's underneath and what I can do with my passion. And she looked shocked that I wanted to, I guess, diet for fun. And she didn't understand to why. But no one, you don't have to get it. You can try and explain it, but they don't have to get it. But they just have to respect it. And
exactly,
that's all you ever need to ask, I guess.
And I think if you take all those steps and someone still doesn't respect you and they're still like having a go at you or making fun of you or whatever, then it might be time to distance yourself. Yeah,
absolutely, absolutely.
Definitely.
Yeah, it's so hard when people like hear that. I think when I told them that I was prepping for weightlifting, I hear a lot at the gym. I don't think I've told you this. Have I? No. I used to hear a lot, hey, you should probably put some of those weights back. That's really heavy. These are from dudes that think so much of themselves. Like, no like tea or shade to guys, but only guys have come up to me. And it might come from a good place in their hearts to think that, hey, look, hey, little girl. Yeah. When they call me that, it's the worst thing ever.
That's so demoralizing.
Yeah. It is. And I love it when the PTs like the guy PTs that
they hype you up.
They are so funny. Like they're like,
do it. You lift.
They're like, they're like, hey Annika, you lifting heavy today? I'm like, nah, just 100. He goes, and then he's just, and he makes it funny. He goes, oh yeah, just 100 today. Let's not do 200 yet. Hey, you know, we don't want to show anyone up.
Like, let us build them. You know.
See, the difference there is the PTs, they understand what I'm doing. Yeah.
I don't think anyone realizes that I'm doing it for fun as well, and to see what my best is.
Your body can do. It's amazing. Your body's
crazy.
a temple.
I didn't know I could lift anything that heavy.
It's amazing. Yeah. Think about this is where you are now. Imagine when you're getting to the end of your prep. That's just your body will be able to do so much more.
Yeah.
I'm so excited. Let's go.
Get that 200.
But yeah, so if anyone is ever like talking down to you or something, like, explain yourself, girl. Yeah. Or guy, you know.
Just explain what you're doing. And if they don't respect it, then cool.
Then see you later.
Yeah.
Bye.
Yeah.
You just don't have to associate with them.
Unless you see someone almost hurting themselves, please don't
then
walk
it's a
up
different
to them.
story.
Yeah, walk up to them and tell them to put stuff back. And like, it's so awkward.
If someone's on the verge of actually injuring themselves, help them. Like, don't look and then look away, actually help them. That's the one thing we don't do as well. We look at someone who's arching their back, or, you know, it's hard to offer free advice to someone because someone won't want it. But if you want to protect someone and at least do what you can to help someone, help them.
Yeah, that's what I love. That's what I love about Good Life, because PTs will just be like, hey, just worried about your neck. I literally stop and say, oh, sorry, what should I be doing?
Yeah, you don't have to look at them being like, excuse me, that was rude, because they're like, I'm just protecting your your body.
Yeah, going on that, like, if you're the person on the receiving end of that, you know, just let your ego down and actually accept some advice, because I 100% know, like, in everything, not just the gym, I used to be that kind of person who thought, my way or the highway, like, I know everything, like, this girl knows where it's at, and, like, I wouldn't listen to anyone, but I've grown so much since actually taking advice from people and asking for help. And just know there's no shame in wanting help with anything.
Absolutely.
Because you're only going to grow. And, you know, if you're in the gym environment, the people coming up to you, if they're PTs, they're only there to help you, you know.
Absolutely. Last year, those who know me, I played it really, really, really safe. I spent the whole year focusing on my business, I tried to prep for the first time. Obviously didn't know according to plan, and I played it safe, didn't go to social events, didn't eat out, didn't go out, didn't hang out with people, and I isolated myself in this box of just, not sadness, just, I guess, loneliness, because I pushed everyone away to focus on my goals, to try and be the best version of me, but I became the worst. I went out, the last time I went out, we went out on the weekend, and on Sunday morning, my mum said to me, this is the happiest I've seen you, because you're not isolating yourself, you're not pushing others away, you're letting people in, but you're still focusing on your fitness goals. And it made me realize I was discussing it last year, at the end of last year, I was going to say yes to things I don't normally say yes to. Obviously not everything, I'm not going to go and just say yes to whatever's offered to me, but if someone offers me something that I don't usually do, or would get me out of my comfort zone, I'm going to say yes. You know, if I want to travel somewhere, or just do small things that I wouldn't usually do, small activities, hiking adventures, going to places I wouldn't normally go, going out on weekends. I'm 20 years old and I barely go out. It's nice to have that lifestyle, but it's also nice to do things you're not used to. And I guess that was my goal for myself this year, is to say yes to things I would not usually say yes to, and here I am, and we start off pretty strong, I think. So yeah, I'm pretty excited to, I guess, achieve my fitness goals, but as well as doing things that, you know, I wouldn't do last year, I wouldn't have done 2 years ago, or I wouldn't have done it if I was in a relationship. I just want to get out of my comfort zone and, I guess, achieve not just fitness goals, but I guess, like, get out of my own, like, mental comfort zone of this, like, obviously you're in your own body, you're in this little comfortable spot, but I want to push the boundaries and, I guess, get out of that and try some new things. So
So when she told me about all that, I was so on board. I was so here for it.
My hype girl.
And I've kind of been doing a similar thing. I think it's such a great idea. And, you know, it's a good idea for everyone this year to kind of try something like that. You know, you see all these memes on Facebook saying 2019 is the year, and, like, everyone has good vibes. So, you know,
make it.
You know, you may as well roll with that. And, you know, everyone started on a good high this year, I think.
Yeah, 100%.
You know, whatever's in the air, something's going right. So, you know, take hold of that while you can before any hell breaks loose, and
100%.
Yeah, use this year to kind of, like Chloe said, say yes to things, get out of your comfort zone, grow even more as a person.
You'll appreciate it, I think.
Yeah, definitely. And for me,
excited for you.
Yeah,
I am excited. I'm literally just watching the sound. I feel like everyone's like, wow, this girl's just not talking today.
You're like, it does sound good. But it's so important just to, I guess, look after yourself, but look after your mind as well, and do things that make you nervous, but in a good way. Say yes to things. I've said yes to things that would usually freak me out and I'd hide away from, but now I'm pushing the boundaries. And honestly, the happiest I've been in over a year. And it shows. It really shows. Your friends can tell. Your family can tell.
Yeah.
And if you see someone who is getting out of their comfort zone, honestly, push them to do it if it's a good thing. Because it's nice, again, coming back to support networks, it's nice to have people who, I guess, care and push you.
Yeah. For me, the route I'm kind of taking with that this year is more towards my business and just, like, getting out of my introvert life. Because I've gotten out of my introvert kind of lifestyle the past few years, and I'm really happy with how confident I've become, but I know I still have a long way to go. And just in the 6 weeks or whatever of this first year, like, people at my workplace especially can see just how much more I've opened up. And, you know, I have friends to thank for that, but also, like I said before, asking for help, you know, getting mentors. I went out of my way to get a coach for business and mindset and that kind of thing. And, you know, it all really helps, once again, just putting that time and effort into yourself, investing in yourself, finding out what you need to work on, and just start pushing yourself to do it, because that's really what's going to drive you to become a better person and overall become a better friend, better partner, everything like that.
I think the best thing you told me, it was honestly the littlest thing, but I won't forget it. It's that you said, this is the first for me. I went up to someone in the gym and I spoke to them, and you got them on board as a client. And you might look at it as like someone who isn't in this business, like in this industry, to be like, yeah, cool, whatever. But it's hard, and to see, I guess, you get out of that zone that you're not usually in, and to actually talk to someone you wouldn't usually talk to, and it paid off, and that's putting you in the right direction to do it more often. Because, yeah, it makes me nervous too, but I can easily walk up to someone and correct them and talk to them, and I know how hard it is to actually, I guess, do those steps to do it, and the fact that it paid off. I think the fact that it shows that we're really good friends, that I'm so happy that you did that.
Yeah.
And I won't forget it. It's a small thing that I will always remember.
Aww.
It's like first for things. And that's how you know you've got a good friend.
Yeah, definitely. You're happy for their achievements.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's just be like, this is so cute.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
You're just over there admiring.
Literally. Friendship.
You're doing well, sweetie.
Get it, girl.
But yeah, like, you might not be able to tell, obviously, because I'm, you know, acting confident for the camera, but I've come from a very introverted and anxious, like, personality, and for me to go up and talk to people openly and, yeah, you know, act confident, especially running my own business as a PT, it's something I've really had to work on. So if you're one of my fellow introverts out there, don't be afraid to get some help, whether it's just a friend or a mentor, whatever, or even like counseling, like we talked about in our last podcast. Anything you need to start pushing yourself, because I think it's fine to be alone and to not talk to people. If that makes you happy, that's cool. But I think if anyone can relate to me, you know, it doesn't feel good not being able to talk to people and feeling anxious everywhere you go. Like, even you say you wear your earphones with no music just because you feel, like, anxious walking into the gym.
Yeah.
Like, we've kind of gone on a tangent here, but I guess this just goes to show that even if you're in that place right now where you're so anxious, or, like, you're so introverted and you don't think you'd be able to, you know, go out and have a successful career or a business or whatever it might be, just look at us. We're both PTs, and we've both had that anxiety and introvert life, and we still kind of do, but it's, like I said, about pushing yourself out of that, getting out of your comfort zone, because otherwise, like, you're always going to be stuck and no one else is going to do the work for you. Like, it's not comfortable, but if you really want to go out there and do things, you just have to make those steps towards it. So one thing I want to start asking our guests whenever we have them on the podcast is a little question. So what would you say to your younger self if you had the chance?
Honestly, the one thing, I guess I said it in the podcast, is stop looking for someone to employ to love you, because no one can do that but you. And that is something I wish I could have told myself 5 years ago, because I wasted time looking for that one person to complete me, to make me feel whole, when now I'm the one, I make myself feel whole. And to me, that's a really big deal.
Oh, for sure.
It really is. It's such an achievement to get to that point, because, I still know so many people who just aren't there yet, which is okay. But yeah, it's definitely a good thing to push yourself to get there.
Like,
so
I see people who have employed that person. You can tell it's not love. You can tell people who have not, you know, had a chance to be single, and they're employing people to love them and to do the work for them, and you just know who they are, and one day they'll figure it out, but sometimes it's just better sooner rather than later.
Yeah, before we get on another tangent, leave in the comments below what advice you would give to yourself, to your younger self anyways, because I feel like if you need to hear it yourself, I feel like a lot of people would love to hear it for them too, and your comment could really help someone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And along with that, I want you to comment one thing that you're going to start doing in your life that makes you feel a bit uncomfortable?
Yeah.
What is your yes year going to start with?
Get comfortable by being uncomfortable.
Yeah. This is your call to action to actually start doing something and not just stay stagnant.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, thanks so much for listening.
Yes,
thank you to
thank
Chloe
you.
for
Thank you
being
for
our
having me.
guest. Oh my goodness. Sorry for talking so much in this podcast.
Hello.
If you would like to see more of Chloe or maybe you have some more questions for any of us, yeah, just comment down below, slide into our DMs on Instagram. Everything's going to be linked down below like usual. And if you'd like to work with Chloe, we will link all her info down below so you can go hit her up and get some personal training done.
Well, that's it from us today. Anyways,
Gotta go!